Welcome to Deep Stories. This is a place where we share the stories that make us feel, reflect, and sometimes even shed a tear. If you're here, you're looking for something real, a moment that connects us all, no matter where we're from or what we've been through. When she first turned 18, she wasn't technically dating Tom. He had a girlfriend. Still, when he wasn't at her house or she at his, they spent time together. She was 18 and already a mistress, in not so many words. Showered with declarations of love and affection, Tom was smooth-tongued, but when it came to action, well, at least he never followed through with joining the military. Action was not his strong suit. On many occasions, he professed his adoration for her, claiming he was only with his girlfriend because she had money and could help him out. These were lies. He relished being wanted and desired. Over time, she learned to spot a wolf in sheep's clothing from miles away, though it would take years for her to put this knowledge into practice. When his girlfriend found out about them, they broke up, and she thought they were finally free to begin their once-forbidden love affair. But old habits die hard. Shortly after they began their relationship, Tom fell back into his old tricks, preying on the younger and more naive. He had lost his house after his grandparents died, so a friend offered him a place in their basement. A lovely Catholic family, who were the best people she may have ever had the chance to know. He started flirting with the neighbor's daughter, who was in high school, along with her best friend. While she was left in his bed, he would often go over to hang out with them. The girls were in 9th or 10th grade, while he was freshly 21. Time went on, and he continued to be a manipulative narcissist. She was too blind, naive, and in love to see any of it. That summer, he moved to Oklahoma for a job his friend helped him get, and to escape from the people he didn't mind leaving behind, including her. No goodbye, no hug, nothing. She felt abandoned like an elderly family pet dropped off at a shelter, yet she remained somehow hopeful and naive. Still caring and believing he would be who he wasn't, they continued dating. The quotes were necessary because who knew what he did in his spare time? She flew to visit him that Thanksgiving, packing a backpack and telling no one. They spent the extended weekend together, and although he ignored and manipulated her, she convinced herself he just had difficulty expressing himself. He knew how to play his cards right, getting what he wanted while molding her, a young, naive girl, to believe this was normal, that this was love. Deciding to move down and be with him, she went home to inform Alice of her plans. She filled out job applications for any place she could walk to, and Papa John's called her for an over-the-phone interview. She got the job, drained her account to buy a bus ticket out west, and had a farewell party at the trailer. One for the books, with TVs smashed, friends made, and memories forged. The next morning, Alice took her to the bus station. She gave the clerk her ticket and boarded the Greyhound, still hungover and exhausted. She put on her headphones, zoning out until they reached Springfield, Missouri. Have you ever wondered why they call it Missouri? Because it was absolutely miserable. She moved to Oklahoma in December 2007, right in the middle of the blizzard that swept the nation. All the buses were shut down, and she didn't mind staying the first night, or even half of the second night. But by the second evening, the bus station was packed. She found a built-in tile bench that became her space. While chatting with a fellow traveler, a late teen skater heading to Vegas, they bonded over his story, and he gifted her a cool beanie that she adored. But soon, a much younger boy, a true little brat, kept trying to steal the beanie and harass them for money. It was time to escape the potential theft and chaos. She called her grandma, explaining her situation and that she had already contacted a taxi company willing to take her from Springfield to Tulsa, even though it would cost $300. Her grandma wired the money to a nearby Kmart, and she braved the blizzard to collect it. After securing the funds, she arranged the taxi ride, escaping the bus terminal and heading to Tulsa. As they drove, they were the only vehicle on the highway that wasn't in a ditch or abandoned. They reached Tulsa, only to find the city had transformed into an Arctic wasteland. Icicles hung from electrical wires, and transformers exploded, illuminating the darkened streets. They took a wrong exit, ending up on the other side of town without GPS, relying on old-fashioned maps to guide them. After a few more challenges, they finally arrived at Tom's apartment complex. The taxi driver, being kind-hearted, didn't charge her for their detour, and she tipped him well for his efforts. Inside, Tom was awake. They hung out as she rummaged through her backpack, which contained all she had until the boxes Alice sent arrived weeks later. The next day, she braved the snowy landscape to let Papa John's know she had arrived. The manager, impressed by her determination, told her to relax for a couple of days before starting work. With her new shirt in hand, she made the trek back home. Now working at Papa John's while Tom worked at a pipe company, she was barely making enough to pay rent and her phone bill, so she began looking for additional work. She soon transitioned from Papa John's to Subway, where she encountered a bizarre setup. The store owner never showed up. The manager ran the place without ever meeting him, only speaking on the phone. They would adjust the camera to avoid being seen when they wore the wrong pants. At Subway, she met a regular customer who became a friend, a used car salesman who would take her to a diner after her shifts. Although nothing romantic happened, he tried to help her buy a car once, but it didn't pan out due to complications with her dad. After leaving Subway, she found herself in door-to-door sales for Kirby vacuums. It was a nightmare. She and her colleagues would pile into a van and head out to different neighborhoods, but she had no idea how to navigate back home. The trips often extended late into the night, and after several exhausting weeks, she quit.
Then, she started working at a Shell oil and lube center, where she met Mutton Chops, a great guy who had seen and done some things. He genuinely cared about others and wanted the best for them, unlike the creepy man who owned the shop. She did vacuuming, washing windows, and detailing at first, but eventually, Mutton Chops let her help with all changes. One day, he took her to check out a 1993 F-150 truck. It was beautiful, and after some negotiations, she bought it for $800, feeling ecstatic as she drove it home. But when she arrived, Tom immediately criticized her purchase, calling it ridiculous and redneck. Then came a moment of panic when a cop knocked on her door, inquiring about a sketchy person in her apartment complex. She didn't know much, but later learned her upstairs neighbor was the kind who loosened lug nuts on her truck. Hours later, while napping, her roommate informed her that someone had been messing with her truck. She soon discovered the horror. While driving down the street, her rear driver's side tire shot off the axle, careening into oncoming traffic. One irate driver yelled at her for the tire flying away, and she was just as frustrated, wishing it hadn't happened. After she managed to get the truck home, she went to CVS for an escape, forming a bond with the store manager, who wanted to buy her truck. Initially, things went well, but payments dwindled as he blew his money on various drugs. Fed up, she decided to take the truck back, only to find him uncooperative. With determination, she marched to the auto parts store, bought a new battery, and reconnected her truck, driving it back home. She learned that sometimes you have to reclaim your power, even when life throws chaos your way.
If you enjoyed this chilling story, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Deep Stories for more spine-tingling tales like this. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Stay curious, stay brave, and keep diving deep into the unknown with Deep Stories. Thanks for watching.